She stood on my porch, waving her phone overhead like she owned the house. "Officer, hurry. This man broke into my property," she screamed, jabbing her finger at me like I was a criminal. My hands were still gripping my travel bag. I'd returned home a full week earlier than planned. I froze for a moment, staring at her smug expression, then my eyes landed on the teenage boy behind her. He was holding a soda can and wearing my t-shirt. My t-shirt. "Excuse me?" I said slowly, trying to process what I was seeing. The boy leaned against my front door like it belonged to him, grinning wide. "Relax, Mom. I'll deal with him," he laughed. That laugh cut straight through me. From the doorway, I could see inside blankets tossed across my couch, my TV remote on the floor, an empty pizza box sitting on my table. My home looked like a frat house. Karen puffed out her chest, stepped closer, and hissed, "This neighborhood has rules. You abandoned this place, and my son needed somewhere to stay. We're doing you a favor." My jaw clenched as my heart pounded. "I live here. This is my home. Get out." Her smirk widened as a police siren wailed in the distance. She'd actually called it. All spiked, but I forced myself to stay calm. I wasn't just some guy coming back from vacation. She had no idea who she'd picked a fight with, because the truth was, she'd just made the worst mistake of her life. The squad car rolled up fast, gravel crunching beneath the tires. Karen straightened like royalty, awaiting her guards. "Officers! That's him. Arrest this trespasser," she shrieked, pointing at me again. The younger cop looked between us, clearly confused. "Ma'am, are you saying this is your house?" "Yes," she snapped, her voice trembling with manufactured outrage. "We have HOA authority. He abandoned it. My son is the rightful tenant now." I almost laughed at how absurd it sounded, but I held it in. Behind her, the boy slurped his soda, smirking like he was untouchable. I set my bag down slowly. "Officer, before you even think about cuffs, you might want to check the deed. My name's on it. Always has been." Karen's eyes narrowed. "He's lying. Don't listen to him. He doesn't belong here." The older officer, more seasoned, studied me carefully. "You got proof?" I pulled a folded document from my backpack. "I never travel without it. This is my land. This is my house," I said evenly, holding it out. Karen's face twisted, but she didn't back down. "Paperwork can be faked. Don't be fooled. This man is dangerous." The officers exchanged uneasy looks. One of them stepped forward like he might actually cuff me. My fists tightened, but I didn't move, because I knew something Karen didn't. The man, she thought, was just a traveler with a bag, had a wife who trained the local police force, and right then, another siren wailed, one Karen definitely wasn't expecting. A second cruiser slid in behind the first, but it didn't stop gently. The door flew open before the engine even cut off, and out stepped a woman in full police uniform, badge shining, expression sharp as steel. Karen's smug grin faltered. "Wait, what?" she stammered, glancing between her and me. My wife adjusted her cap, eyes locked on Karen. "What's going on here?" Her voice carried authority enough to make even the younger officer straighten like a rookie. Karen tried to recover, pointing wildly at me. "That man broke into my property. Arrest him." My wife glanced at me for half a second, then back to Karen. "Funny, because I know for a fact this is my husband's property." The boy froze mid-sip. Soda spilled down his shirt. "Mom, what's happening?" he whispered, suddenly pale. Karen's face flushed red. "You can't just say that. You're only here because I called backup. This man's a squatter. HOA rules." "Stop." My wife cut in, her voice like a blade. "Impersonating HOA authority. Moving into someone else's home. Filing a false police report. Do you have any idea how serious those charges are?" The officers exchanged looks, finally realizing the trap they'd walked into. Karen's confidence fractured. "No, you don't understand. I was just protecting the neighborhood." I crossed my arms, staring at her son, who couldn't even meet my eyes anymore. The air went thick with silence, broken only by the faint lapping of the lake behind us. Karen had wanted me in handcuffs. Instead, it was her wrists that were about to feel them. Her voice rose, desperate now. "You can't do this to me. I'm on the HOA board. I have rights. She grabbed her son's arm, but he pulled away, embarrassed. The older cop shook his head. Ma'am, HOA doesn't give you the right to seize someone's home. That's trespassing. Karen opened her mouth, but my wife stepped forward, boots firm on the pavement. Actually, it's more than that. You filed a false police report against my husband. You allowed your son to occupy private property, and you impersonated legal authority. She pulled a small body cam from her vest and clicked it on. Everything you've said since I arrived is now recorded. The soda can slip from the boy's hand, fizz spraying across the stone path. Mom, you didn't say it was like illegal, he stammered. Shut up. Karen snapped, but her voice cracked, panic finally bleeding through. I couldn't stop the thin smile that tugged at my mouth. You wanted me arrested, Karen? Funny how the spotlight works. The younger officer cleared his throat. Ma'am, I need you to step aside. Her eyes darted, searching for an escape. No, you don't get it. If this gets out, I'll lose everything. The HOA will enough, my wife said firmly. You don't get to dictate the law here. Not anymore. For the first time, Karen looked small. Her shoulders sagged, her bravado leaking away as her son slowly edged backward, already sensing how ugly this was about to get. But I knew better than to think she was finished. People like Karen never surrendered quietly. She always had one more card to throw on the table, and this time, it was one I hadn't expected. Her hands shook as she dug through her purse, then yanked out a folded piece of paper. You think you've won? She shouted, waving it wildly. Look at this. The officers hesitated as she shoved it forward. This is an official HOA eviction notice. It says right here he abandoned the property. That means it's legally mine now. The younger cop squinted at the page. Is that real? My wife snatched it before he could touch it, scanning the document. Slowly, a dangerous smile crossed her face. Nice try, she said calmly. But this isn't an eviction notice. It's a template downloaded off the internet. She flipped it around for everyone to see. You didn't even remove the watermark. The older officer leaned in and groaned. Clear as day, the bottom corner read, sample form not for legal use. Karen's son muttered under his breath. Oh my God, Mom. Karen's face drained, but she snapped louder, desperate. It doesn't matter. The neighbors support me. They all want him gone. We don't want strangers ruining our community. Her words weren't just aimed at me, they were aimed at who I was. My blood heated, but I stayed silent, letting my wife handle it. She stepped closer, voice steady but sharp. Strangers. You mean the man who owns this land? The man who fought for this country while you sat on a committee telling people what color their mailbox should be. The younger officer looked at me with new respect. Sir, military. I nodded once. Retired. I bled for this flag so people like her couldn't steal what doesn't belong to them. At the moment the words left my mouth, the entire atmosphere shifted. Karen's power collapsed in real time, her fake authority shrinking into something pitiful. Still, I saw it in her eyes. She wasn't walking away without one last swing. Her face twisted with rage, and suddenly she lunged forward, ripping the body cam straight from my wife's hand. This never happened, she screamed, hurling it toward the ground. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Ma'am, the younger officer barked, that's destruction of police evidence. The camera hit the pavement but didn't break. My wife calmly picked it up, dusted it off, and clipped it back into place. That was your last mistake, she said coldly. Karen's son backed away, voice shaking. Mom, stop. You're making it worse. But she wasn't listening. Her eyes darted between the officers, me, and her own child. You'll regret this. I'll sue all of you. I'll drag this entire neighborhood into court. I finally stepped forward, closing the distance. Go ahead. File your lawsuits. But before you do, check your whole account balance. She blinked, confused. What are you talking about? I pulled my phone from my pocket and opened a document I'd kept ready. Turns out, Karen, while I was away, you stopped paying your own HOA dues. Funny thing is, the board accidentally sent me the arrears notice. I tilted the screen so everyone could see the overdue balance, her name highlighted in bold. Looks like you're the one about to be evicted. Her son's jaw dropped. Mom, you didn't pay? Karen staggered back like the ground had vanished beneath her. For once, she had no words, only silence. The older officer nodded to his partner. "That's enough. Ma'am, you're coming with us." The snap of handcuffs echoed through the yard like justice made audible. But the story wasn't finished yet. As they moved her toward the cruiser, something unexpected happened. Her son didn't follow. He stayed rooted in place, then suddenly blurted out, "Wait, I'm not going with her." Everyone turned. Karen spun around, eyes wild. "What did you just say?" He swallowed hard, voice trembling but firm. "I can't keep covering for you. You dragged me into this. You told me we had the right to stay here. You lied to me, to everyone." Her face flushed red. "I did this for you, so you'd have a place, so you wouldn't." He cut her off, louder now. "No, you did this for yourself. You didn't care about me. You just wanted control." His voice cracked, but the truth in it silenced the entire yard. My wife studied him carefully. "Son, is there something you want to tell us?" His shoulders slumped. "Yeah, I didn't want to stay here. Mom made me. She said nobody would ever find out." He looked at me, guilt heavy in his eyes. "I'm sorry for what she did to your house. I knew it wasn't right." Karen lunged toward him, but the officers restrained her. "Don't you dare turn on me. I'm your mother," she screamed, her authority crumbling into raw panic. He stepped back, shaking his head. "Not today. I'm done being your excuse." I stared at him, surprised. Fear was there, but so was relief. For the first time all day, Karen stood alone. As they led her to the cruiser, she spat one final threat. "This isn't over. I'll get out, and when I do, you'll regret crossing me." I met her gaze, steady and cold. "Karen, the only one who'll regret anything here is you." The cruiser door slammed, muffling her furious screams as it drove away. The street felt lighter without her voice poisoning the air. My house was still trashed, my trust still shaken, but the noise was gone. Her son lingered on the driveway, kicking at the gravel before looking up. I don't deserve it, but thank you for not letting her get away with it. She's been like this my whole life." I studied him for a long moment. Not innocent, but not the villain either. Just a kid pulled into his mother's chaos. "You've got a chance to be different," I said quietly. "Don't waste it." He nodded, eyes glassy, then walked away alone, but free of her shadow for the first time. My wife slipped her arm through mine, her voice soft now. "You okay?" I glanced at the wrecked living room, the overturned furniture, the reminder that someone had lived here without me. Then I looked at her steady, unbreakable. "Yeah," I exhaled, because at the end of the day, this was still our home. And no fake notice, no power-hungry Karen, and no stolen authority was ever going to take that from us. She smiled and squeezed my hand. "Damn right." As the sun dipped low, painting the lake gold, I finally let out the breath I'd been holding since I first saw her on my porch. Justice wasn't always clean, but today, it was damn satisfying, and anyone watching could see it clearly. This wasn't just a story about an HOA Karen gone wild. It was about freedom, about standing your ground, and about never underestimating the wrong person.